Award season is winding down, and this week and next weekend are the Big Three Guilds. Yes, that is what this Oscarology video is all about. The three big guilds and what they mean to the Oscars. Stay tuned.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile, and if you're a convicted cinephile yourself, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. On my channel, I like to talk, shop, and pop open, that is, movies and physical media. Like I said, today's video is about the three big guilds and what they mean to the Academy Awards. Yes, it's coming up. It's coming up soon. It's less than a month away. The big three guilds are all going to be announcing their winners this and next weekend, and we're going to get into those. So I'm going to be going over the years since the expanded Best Picture ballot have taken place, so 2009 to the present, and what films won the Producers Guild Award, Screen Actors Guild Ensemble Award, and the Directors Guild Award. And you'll see with most of these that if you have to win at least one of them, typically, to win Best Picture. And if you win two, you'll probably guarantee to win Best Picture. And if you win all three, ain't no way you're losing Best Picture. So let's just get into it year by year, and I'll tell you which movies won which and what I think is going to happen this year. Starting in 2009, we have The Hurt Locker, which was our eventual Best Picture winner. That film won both the Producers Guild Award and the Directors Guild Award, but the Screen Actors Guild Ensemble Award went to Best Picture nominee Inglourious Basterds, which is a fantastic win for that award, in my opinion. But as you can see, Hurt Locker won two of the three big guilds, therefore went on to win Best Picture and those two Oscars as well. The interesting thing about the PGA now is that they are the only award outside of the Best Picture at the Oscars that does a preferential ballot. So what usually wins PGA typically wins Best Picture, and it's a good barometer because it's voted on the same way. So you can see what different kinds of movies could win at the PGA Awards based on the preferential ballot. 2010, we have an easy one. Literally everything up until these three guilds was going to The Social Network. Even the BAFTA Awards, which is coming up this weekend, by the way, gave their Best Directing trophy to David Fincher for The Social Network. But in 2010, the Producers, Directors, and Screen Actors Guild Ensemble all went to The King's Speech, and then it inevitably won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, on top of Director and Original Screenplay, 2011, we have the Best Picture winning Artist, which won the Producers Guild and Directors Guild Awards, and The Help won the Screen Actors Guild Award, which was a nice win there. And Octavia Spencer went on to win Supporting Actress, and Viola Davis should have won Best Lead Actress at the Oscars, in my opinion, but there we go. We have two out of the three went to the Artist, and the Artist won those two at the Oscars. 2012, Argo won all three, PGA, DGA, and SAG. Ben Affleck, for some fluke reason, was not nominated for Best Director at the Oscars, so that ended up going to Life of Pi for Ang Lee, but Argo still won Best Picture and Screenplay at the Oscars, so once again, you win all three, you're going to win Best Picture. 2013 was interesting because 12 Years a Slave won, actually I shouldn't say it won, it tied for PGA, which is ridiculous given how it's voted for, with Gravity. And Gravity won Directors Guild, and American Hustle won SAG Ensemble. So technically Gravity won two out of the three, but it tied for one of them. But yet 12 Years a Slave still ended up winning because the PGA stat is very strong, like I said, given the preferential ballot. That is one of the cases where one that won two did not win Best Picture, but it only tied for one of them. So it didn't really win two. It won one and tied the other. So, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one. 2014, we have another easy one like The King's Speech. Kind of the same thing happened where Boyhood was sort of winning all the earlier things. And then out of nowhere, Birdman sweeps all the Guild Awards with PGA, DGA, and SAG Ensemble, which made me happy because I prefer that movie, honestly. But yeah, Birdman, obviously ended up winning Best Picture along with Screenplay and Director at the Oscars as well. It just won all three. Nothing went to anything else, but I'm fine because I like Birdman. 2015 was a fun one. This is a fun one. I hope this year is like this because it can be, and I'll tell you why when we get to it. Spotlight won Best Picture, only winning the Screen Actors Guild. The Revenant won DGA, which went on to win Best Director at the Oscars. And surprisingly, The Big Short won PGA, which went on to win Original Screenplay at the Oscars. So 3 different movies won these 3 awards, which is always more exciting when that happens and Best Picture time comes around, because it could have been any one of these 3, essentially. It even could have been Mad Max, given the fact that it won 6 Oscars, but that was not to be. But Spotlight shows how strong the SAG Ensemble Award can be. It also won the Writers Guild Award, which I would include in this video, but there's so many movies that aren't eligible for the Writers Guild of America Award by the time it comes down to it, that it's not worth mentioning most of the time. But there is one time where it is worth mentioning, and that is this next year. 2016, we have La La Land winning PGA and DGA, which it won the Directors Guild, or Directors Oscar. Hidden Figures, surprisingly, won, at least somewhat surprisingly, won the SAG Ensemble Award. I would have assumed it would have gone to Moonlight, personally, but Hidden Figures is good. And there was even a couple actors in Moonlight that are in Figures, so it's kind of funny they ended up winning anyways. And then Moonlight didn't win any of those 3. It won only the Writers Guild of America, and it went on to surprise and win Best Picture along with Screenplay. So that is the one time where a movie that only won Writers Guild won Best Picture since the preferential ballot started. 2017, we have Shape of Water, which won Producers and Directors Guild, which won those 2 Oscars as well. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri won SAG Ensemble, and it went on to win 2 acting Oscars, so that made sense. 2018 was another. It would have been a fun year if the nominees that year weren't not very good, in my opinion. We have Green Book, which won the PGA, which just showed, oh great, this is probably going to win Best Picture for some reason, and it did. Roma won DGA, which it won directing at the Oscars, and then Black Panther won the Screen Actors Guild Ensemble, which was a fun win, but Black Panther was never going to win Best Picture, especially without a writing and directing nomination. It just wasn't going to happen, but it was cool to see that cast win at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. But yeah, that was easily my least favorite year out of any of these I'm covering right now. 2019 was a fun one. We had 1917 winning PGA and DGA, and then it ended up losing both of those to Parasite at the Oscars. Parasite won only the Screen Actors Guild Ensemble, and as soon as it won that, if you were watching the show and you see the reaction that movie got when it won SAG Ensemble, it was like, holy shit, Parasite's going to win Best Picture. Even if Sam Mendes wins Best Director, which I thought was going to happen for 1917. I kind of wish it did happen, personally. But I was like, Parasite can totally win Screenplay and Picture, and that'd be awesome. And that's what happened, along with a surprise Best Directing win. That was cool. The Screen Actors Guild is important because it's the largest branch of the Academy. It makes up like about a 20% or so or more of the entire Academy. So if you win SAG Ensemble, that means actors like your movie, and if actors like your movie, it's going to get a lot of votes for something, or, you know, it helps. It doesn't hurt. Because like the DGA's got like 16,000 members, but the directing branch at the Oscars is only like in the hundreds. So it's a lot different. And the PGA is producers, but everyone votes for Best Picture. So it's kind of weird that way. 2020, Nomadland won Directors and Producers Guild. Ended up winning both of those at the Oscars. Trial of the Chicago 7, as uninspired as a choice it may be, won Screen Actors Guild Ensemble. It makes sense, but it was like, no. I want to say it was too obvious or too easy of a choice, but you know, it's a fine choice to win that award. It is a very good ensemble of actors. And it ended up getting goose-egged at the Oscars, winning nothing. Last year, Coda won Screen Actors Guild Ensemble, which was like Parasite. Once it won that, it was like, okay, this is going to happen. And then, this might happen, I should say. Power of the Dog won DGA, went on to only win Best Director at the Oscars, fittingly. And then Coda, in a slightly more surprising race, won PGA. So once that happened, it was like, yep, Coda's going to do it. But even based on that SAG Ensemble reaction, akin to Parasites, you could tell something was going on, and Coda was going to end up winning Best Picture and break 100,000 stats of Oscar history. So that is what happened in the the days since the preferential ballot. This year, the Directors Guild is this Saturday. The Producers Guild is next Saturday. The Screen Actors Guild is next Sunday. The BAFTAs are this Sunday. So lots of stuff going on finally. It's been like the lull of like the month after the Oscar nominations. There's like this boring few weeks where there's nothing to talk about. So it's a good timing to get sick because there's nothing to make a video about anyways. But anywho, the Directors Guild is coming up, like I said. You have Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick, who is just happy to be there, I would say. The Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Todd Field for Tar. Steven Spielberg. And who am I missing? Martin McDonagh for Banshees of Inisherin. 4 of those, not Kosinski, are at the Oscars. Who's it going to be at DGA? I think there's a very likely chance that the Daniels are going to win this. It's going to take SAG Ensemble. Nothing is going to beat that there. That is impossible. If it loses that, then something was wrong with the world and they miscounted something. Producers Guild could go to one of a few things too. So Directors Guild, it should go to the Daniels, in my personal opinion. I could see it going to Spielberg because it's Spielberg, but honestly, any other reason than because he's Steven Spielberg isn't really a good reason to give it to Steven Spielberg this year. He's won 3 other times. He's got 2 directing Oscars for substantially more important, more memorable films. Anyone for The Color Purple, which wasn't even nominated for at the Oscars. And he's not even nominated for directing at BAFTA. He wasn't even longlisted to get nominated, so there was no way he was going to get nominated. So him winning this, other than him being Spielberg, seems weird. Todd Field I could see winning because he's a filmmaker's filmmaker, and Tar is a very well-directed, precisely directed film. I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but it's extremely well made, and I respect the hell out of Todd Field. So if Everything Everywhere doesn't win at DGA, I kind of want it to be Todd Field, just to shake things up a bit, because I think giving it to Spielberg is just kind of boring. Next week, we have PGA on Saturday. This, once again, this is the producers. They like the money, usually, which is why it was kind of surprising that The Whale made it, but The Whale made money. It only cost $3 million to make, and it's made like $15 million in theaters. 5 times your budget ain't nothing to sneeze at these days, especially in the theater. But you got movies like The Fabelmans that cost, tens of millions of dollars and made the same as The Whale, but it still got in because it's Steven Spielberg. Things like that. You have Avatar, which made a gajillion dollars, but isn't the greatest movie ever. You have a surprise hit that didn't cost a ton of money and made over $100 million, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which would be a very good Producers Guild winner because it shows, hey, you can make really interesting genre-bending movies for a reasonable amount of money with fantastic actors in it and have them make a profit in theaters if you make them good. It's a thing. Mid-budget movies, they should be a thing. They're just not anymore for some reason. It's either nothing or $200 million of CGI. And then you have Top Gun Maverick, which could easily win PGA. It's the movie that saved movies, or at least the theaters, this year. It costs a good chunk of money to make, It's a big blockbuster, but it made over $700 million domestically, about $1.5 billion worldwide. And it was never supposed to make that much money. But because it's actually good, it did. And it was a nice, change of pace. So keep doing that, Hollywood. Keep making movies with real practical effects and limited CGI, with stories that, are easy to watch, easily digestible stories that are fun to watch on the screen. Keep doing that. Maybe spend a little less money, like in Everything Everywhere. So right there you got, I'd say Top Gun and Everything Everywhere are the 2 that could win this award. If Everything Everywhere wins this and Directing Guild, and it's going to win SAG already, and it's going to win Writers Guild Original Screenplay because Banshees isn't eligible, so it's already got that in the bag. It's winning Best Picture if it takes all 3 of these, like we said before. If you win all 3, you're going to win Best Picture. Period. If you win 2 of them, you're probably going to win Best Picture. And the 2 you want to win are more likely than not SAG and PGA, because SAG has the most voters and PGA is the same style of voting. So there you go. DGA you win, you're probably going to win directing at the Oscars, and good for you. So this year could be one of those years where everything goes to the same movie, where it could be Everything Everywhere All at Once for all 3, or Spielberg could win DGA or Todd Field, and Todd Field could easily win BAFTA director too because Spielberg's not there. I forgot to mention that. PGA could easily go to Everything Everywhere or Top Gun. So we could have Spielberg / Field, Top Gun, and Everything Everywhere win SAG. And then we'll have a three-way race, essentially, for Best Picture. Or we could just have Everything Everywhere sweep all three and be the weird little movie that could and does in 2023. So that is all I was going to do for this video. I'll be doing my final BAFTA winner predictions this week as well. For the DGA, I'll just say my predicted winner is the Daniels. So if they don't win, I'll be a little mad. But hopefully they do. And I want them to make it an exciting season, but I don't want to have to like worry they're going to lose. You know what I mean? I don't want Avatar to somehow win Best Picture. Let's put it that way. Tomorrow night, Thursday the 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be doing my 1980s Best Picture nominee tournament on my channel, so check that out. I will have Huck from Huck's Pop Culture Cafe, Basement Blues Tony, Fish the Film Collector, and the other Derek from Pure Hangout as my panelists, and we'll be talking about Best Picture movies from the 80s. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Shop, pop, movies.